In modern warfare, defeat is not always audible. Sometimes it arrives silently through one's own consciousness, through a heart unable to bear the burden. Today, Israel mourns not for a defeat on the battlefield, but because 30 of its soldiers chose to take their own lives. This all happened after Iran's attack, which not only destroyed cities, but also shattered hopes. Iran's attack on Israel's central military district last week was not just an ordinary bombardment. Hypersonic missiles were launched one after another, striking communication facilities, logistical warehouses, and the headquarters of elite IDF units near BRFA. That morning, the sky over southern Israel was ablaze. Explosions destroyed aircraft hangars, claimed hundreds of lives, and knocked out command systems for over 18 hours. Yet, this was not the end, but the beginning of an even quieter tragedy, a moral collapse of the nation's defenders. There were no warning sirens, no clear evacuation instructions. Communication with Central Command was severed. Many soldiers didn't know if their country was still standing or had already fallen. Amid this physical chaos, something quieter, colder emerged, a sense of abandonment. Some soldiers locked themselves in their posts, others tried to contact their families, but communications were down. Even the IDF's internal communication system couldn't restore contact between posts. In such a place, fear doesn't come from an advancing enemy, but from the feeling that you're slowly dying, and no one will help. Unit 143, a logistical support unit, performed a vital but little-known task. They weren't shooters or ground troops. They were the silent backbone sustaining the combat system, distributing ammunition, setting up satellite communications, monitoring drones, and managing the AI combat network. But when Iranian missiles hit BRFI, the system collapsed. Operators of Unit 104 lost not only infrastructure but also their foundation. In the hours after the attack, some began showing strange symptoms, crying without reason, freezing in their chairs, unable to answer simple questions. They weren't combat veterans, untrained to face charred bodies. But this time, they saw it all firsthand, and that was the beginning. On the first day, 5 soldiers withdrew into themselves. One wrote an apology letter to his mother, and then hanged himself in the server room. By the 3rd day, 12 more cases emerged. Some were taken to the military hospital, but 2 refused to eat for 72 hours, and eventually died. By the 6th day, 30 suicides were recorded among soldiers from various IDF units. The pattern was the same: silent, discreet, and all left notes. We have no reason to live, and they give us no reason to survive. If this is a duty to the state, why do we feel like victims? They want us to be heroes, but we can't even save ourselves. What shocked the Israeli military wasn't just the number of suicides, but that they came from units not exposed to direct physical impact. This means the war had penetrated the most intimate human space, the soul. The Israeli government initially denied this to the media, with a military spokesperson calling these cases personal health issues unrelated to operations. However, a leak from Tel HaShomer Military Hospital revealed that 27 of the 30 victims had requested leave for health reasons in the past 2 months. This suggests the system knew but chose silence. Some victims' families are outraged. They rejected the Israeli flag on the coffins. They refused military funerals. My son didn't die for bravery. He died because he couldn't bear it. Don't make him a symbol of false courage. International media began applying pressure. Human Rights Watch published a report stating that the IDF fails to provide psychological protection for its soldiers. Even several former IDF officers wrote anonymous articles in the Jerusalem Post, calling it a sign that the IDF has lost control over itself, making it even more terrifying. According to intelligence, Iran has long been developing a psychological campaign, spreading audio recordings, manipulated photos, and deep fakes targeting IDF soldiers specifically. In a secret interview, a surviving soldier sent an audio message to a Swedish outlet. "I don't know if I'm alive or just not dead yet. My roommate hanged himself last week. We were just on night duty. Nothing unusual happened. He just said he was tired, and the next day he was gone. They gave us weapons but didn't teach us how to keep our sanity. We have bunkers, but there's no place to escape fear. They say we're heroes, but I've never felt like one. I just want to go home." The recording went viral. On social media, IDF silent suicide became a global trend, Israeli civilians began questioning, is this war worth it if their own soldiers are dying by their own hands? Iran doesn't fire missiles at soldiers' hearts. Iran sows doubt in their minds. With the help of AI military psychologists and information warfare, Iran creates a new battlefield, the internal war. They infiltrate through personal messages, display images of Palestinian children on IDF monitors, and replace internal broadcasts with footage of victims' families. This isn't just sabotage, it's a total assault on human emotions. Israel, with all its technology and modern weaponry, was unprepared for this kind of war because this war isn't heard or seen. It's felt in the heart. That weekend 30 funerals took place simultaneously. No live broadcasts, no general speeches, just rain and the sobbing of relatives. The state tried to hide it all, but the world has already seen that in modern warfare, soldiers can die not by the enemy's hand, but from the loss of hope. And when soldiers stop believing in the state, stop believing in the purpose, then no bullets from outside are needed. They will shoot themselves from within. This tragedy isn't just about 30 lost lives, but about thousands of others who may be counting the days in silence, without explosions, without flags. Just a whisper in their heads they were never taught how to face.